Folks, time to start. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Unity of Port St. Lucie. It's good to have all you here. And of course, good morning to all of those of you who are watching at home on YouTube or maybe watching in the future. So let's rise and join in singing One Light. Please be seated. And let's take a moment to just kind of silence ourselves, relax, just tune into your heart and affirm with me silently what the words that I'm about to say. Father, Mother God, I open my heart and mind this morning to your presence that is within me and in everyone and everything. I open my heart to your peace, love, wisdom, and power that permeates all of creation. I let your presence fill my being, and I express peace, poise, confidence, and strength. Relaxing into your loving care, I now release all fears and worries, because I know that you uphold and sustain me always. Father, Mother God, right now your loving presence calms me, quiets the storms around me, and keeps me in perfect peace. Right now and every day to come, I will know my oneness with you. And so I embrace my feelings of your infinite love, and I let go of every concern, because I know that all is well, all the time. I am so grateful to live in a universe that is a sanctuary of love and peace for all who live with an open heart. And so it is, and always will be. Amen. All right, let's affirm our statements. Our mission statement, together please. To develop our spiritual connection with God through prayer, education, and service. And our vision statement. Unity of Port St. Lucie is an expanding community for personal healing and spiritual growth. And time for the congregational song. Please stand.
Life may change day to day.
right, please be seated. And it's time for Nancy, who's going to read the daily word.
Good morning. Today's word is guidance. I open my mind and heart to receive my guidance. Sometimes I have insisted on figuring things out for myself rather than asking for anyone's help. Over the years, I have learned the value of asking for guidance and sharing what I've learned from others when others ask me. As we exchange ideas, I may tap into a higher wisdom that had not been apparent to either of us alone. This wisdom is not outside myself. It is a still, small voice, mine to call upon at any time. I am always able to ask for guidance to show me the way forward. I access my inner guidance by opening my mind and heart in prayer. Then I watch and listen, remembering that divine guidance may come in a familiar way or perhaps in an unexpected way that will surprise and delight me. For as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my thoughts higher than your ways, my thoughts than your thoughts. Isaiah 55:9. Please join me in saying today's affirmation. With God, I live a life of balance.
Thank you, Nancy. All right, in preparation for meditation, should we join in singing Surely the Presence, please?
It's true, friends. The presence of the Lord is in this place and every place. Let us prepare to spend some time together in the precious silence by closing our eyes, by relaxing deeply in the chairs or sofas on which we sit, letting go of any tension. We scan our bodies quickly, breathe into places that are tight, breathing into them, releasing tension, letting go of stress. We soften our bodies. We soften the lines on our face, our lips, our eyes. We allow those shoulders to land gently where they will. We plant our feet firmly on the ground. Put aside anything in our hands and place them on our laps or the tabletop. Palms up, allowing the fingers to fall gently where they will. In this way, we are conscious of the flow of life moving through us, conscious of the very presence of God we already established is in this place now, conscious of the fact that it is moving directly through us, entering the tops of our heads and filling our body cavity completely. The presence of God, God in movement, life itself, all that is good, all that is perfect, all that is peaceful, all that is loving, moving through us, filling us up, becoming us, as we are open and receptive to receiving this magnificent gift of the universe, the presence of God, the awareness of that presence is ours right now, friends. We take it in. We immerse ourselves in it and we become one with it and we become it. The very presence of God as us. As we say, use us, God. Thank you. We are your instruments. We are open and we are receptive and we are ready. Instruments of your love and your peace, your beauty, your perfection, all that is good. Let us sit, friends, for a few moments in the silence, fully immersed in this awareness that we are one with each other, that we are one with the presence. And now very slowly and very, very gently, we begin to return our attention to our bodies. We prepare ourselves to open our eyes once more, knowing that the light there, the light in our eyes shines more brightly now as we are one with the presence, aware of it, grateful for it, and expressing it, beginning with song as we open our eyes and sing together about the bond we have, the bond of love. Good morning, everyone. I said to Renee about 1 minute before we started, there was a crowd coming in. It's interesting to me how at the very last moment there's a surge. Renee said it's a unity thing. I think he's right, you know. I think he's right. That would appear to be the case. I don't know about other churches. So I want to start today by asking you to join me in prayer one more time. I have the COVID prayer that was given to you as you came in. Hopefully you received it. If not, there's some extra copies on the back table. There is a website I trust that does a really good job of simply tracking the number of cases in Florida. No description, no narrative, no opinion about it. It's simply data. And I glance at it, and since August 13th, it has dropped dramatically. Absolutely unbelievable. I tried to figure out how to take a screenshot so I could show you the graph, and that was beyond my ability to figure out, unfortunately. But it's all for the best, I know. Just trust me on this. It has dropped dramatically. Now, it's true in Port St. Lucie we appear to have a hot spot going on, but overall, statewide, the numbers have crashed, and the number of deaths went down to 0, and they're hovering there. So we need to keep this up, friends. So let's do it together right now. Look at this virus image on the screen or on the card that I gave you. Picture it in your mind's eye. And join me out loud, please. My God, I stand in my strength and my power. I look directly at COVID, the virus, and see it transforming, breaking down, reshaping, redefining itself into a harmless entity, posing no threat to humankind. I direct the love that is you, expressing as me, and enfold COVID in this love's light. I am humbled at the speed and the ease with which this great transformation takes place, and I am grateful. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Amen. Just FYI, I have a copy of this taped to my desktop, so the first thing I do every day when I sit down is this prayer. And then again later if I remember, but at least every morning. So that's number one piece of housekeeping. Number two piece of housekeeping is this. Thank you to all of you who signed up for Absolute Abundance. I know that I said I wasn't going to let you get out the door. and I had a feeling one or two of you signed up simply because I said that, but I'll take it. I was talking to my prayer partner, and then I was talking to someone else who's a Unity minister elsewhere, and I told them what I said, and I said, I don't feel badly about it, and I'm not apologizing, because here's what I believe firmly. You can come on Sunday morning and you can hear the message, and maybe you're inspired temporarily and motivated temporarily, etc., but you can't really change your life just based on that. You have to dig in and take classes. Unity has always been big on making this information available in all kinds of ways. This particular class that I'm offering is the most fun, extraordinary class material that I have seen in a long time. So please come and do it with me. I'll be out there again today. And I have extra copies of the little flyer. So if you signed up and you forget all the specifics, I made extra copies. You take one with you today to remind yourself when it starts. So do sign up and take this class with me, beginning in October. Today and next week will be the last 2 chances that you have. So that takes care of that. Now, today, I want to talk about something else. So as I settled into what to do next, because, you know, this is like feeling like fall to me already a little bit. 3 times this week, I threw open my front door and opened up my slider and allowed fresh air to clean out my house. You know, I don't know about you, but I just get crazy sometimes thinking about all the time I spend within these walls with the air conditioner running month after month after month. I can't wait to get fresh air in there. Not to mention the food fragrances that build up over time. I cooked chicken in a pot the other day, and my house still smells like chicken. Now, that's not a bad thing. It could be worse, right? It wasn't liver or cabbage. But I love the fresh air, so there are glimpses of fall in the air. So I said to myself, what do I want to do now from the platform? Because I want to do something intentional. I want to be real clear about my reason for standing up here. I don't want to just like wait right now for some kind of inspiration to come during the week that comes out of nowhere and isn't connected to anything. You know, I want us to do something together. So it came on me what it is that I want to do, mostly because I want to practice it myself. And then secondly, but not less importantly, I want to share the experience with you. So I want to talk about joy. I want to work on joy. I want to express more joy. I want to experience more joy. And I want you to join me. I want it for you. I want it for me. My prayer partner has chosen the word joy to be her word for the year. And so most weeks when we pray, she'll remind me that that's the thing that we're holding in prayer for her. What a good idea. So I decided to work on it a bit myself. I want to be more joyful, don't you? Yeah, I want to experience it in greater ways. So let's do it together. What do you think? Yeah, are you ready? Could you use some more joy in your life? Are you all in? I know I am. So the first thing that came to me when I thought about this, not yet, was a song that I learned in Sunday school. Yeah, some of you are already shaking your head. I almost called you this week, Jeff, to see if you knew it, but I didn't want to put that on you. You're busy enough. So here goes. I have joy, 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 joy down in my heart. Down in my heart. Down in my heart. I have joy, 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 joy down in my heart. Down in my heart today. We did good, right? Once we got started. So how many of you already know that song? I think it was most of you. Yeah. Do you know it, by the way? Oh, see? Yeah. Maybe we used to sing it. I don't remember. Yeah. No. I love that song. You can do it anytime. It has two other verses that are equally amazing, but today I just want to focus on the joy part. And the thing I love most about that song is not just the way it makes me feel, but it's the down in my heart part. I have joy down in my heart. That's the important part of that song. It's, according to Webster, joy is an emotion evoked by well-being. Okay. But for me, I don't know. It's so much more. It's a sense that all is right with my soul, you know, in an amazing way. It's also about laughing. So when I decided to talk about joy for a couple of weeks, I looked at my metaphysical library to see what the Fillmores had to say about joy. I couldn't remember if they said anything about joy. And there it was. And it was like, wow. In one of Mr. Fillmore's book, which is called Jesus Christ Heals, which, by the way, I just heard from the young woman who's the minister at the Worldwide Temple on Unity Grounds, the big church. That's her favorite Fillmore book. And her church is actually doing that as a book study this winter. Jesus Christ Heals. So it may well be the next book that I do. It's been a while since I've read it. But I picked it up, and there's a whole chapter about joy. An entire chapter about joy. There it was. And I had the same experience I often do when I pick up a Fillmore book. I don't know. It's always been that way for me, which is one of the reasons I went into ministry. I pick up a Fillmore book, and I'll read something, and it's like I tingle inside. It resonates with me deeply. I'm off. I am instantly enlightened, albeit momentarily. Do you know? I feel the words. I feel Mr. Fillmore when I read them. And this book, this passage in this book provided me just such an example. Let me share it with you, just a piece of it. Mr. Fillmore wrote 100 years ago, quote, "An old country doctor used to tell how he healed a woman of a large cyst by telling her a funny story. She laughed so heartily that the fluid broke loose and left her body." He goes on to say, "The mind put kinks in the nerves in ways we cannot understand. A thought of fear will stop the flow of life in some nerve center deep down in the body, forming a nucleus there. And other fears will accumulate there and finally form congestion. The impact of some kind is necessary to break that dam. Physical exercise will sometimes do it, or massage, or electrical impulse. But these are all temporary remedies, friends. None of them has touched the cause, which is mental fear. He goes on to say, there are various methods of erasing fear from the mind and preventing its congestion in our bodies. One of the most direct and effective shatterers of fear is laughter. Laugh your fears away. End of quote. Isn't that astounding? Truly astounding? I hope you're being inspired by it as much as I was. So let's do that right now. Let's laugh a little bit together. I've shared these years ago, and I've found a new one or two, so I'm going to share them again because you're not going to remember till you see them. Some church bulletin bloopers. Remember those? So let's take a look at the first one. Potluck Sunday, 5 p.m., prayer and medication to follow. And we don't need medication after we eat our food, right? Typos. How about this one? The church will host an evening of fine dining, super entertainment, and gracious hostility. I never imagined hostility was gracious before. I love that. How about this one? Weight Watchers will meet at 7 p.m. at the church. Please use the large double doors at the side. That's just wrong. Just wrong. And then, of course, there's always a Sunday school one. So little Johnny is asked by his teacher, what's one thing you could say about Christians? Whoops, not yet. Let's go to him. Well, Christians have only one spouse. This is called monotony. I didn't write it. And finally, this one. Tonight at 7, there'll be a hymn singing in the park right across from the church. Please bring a blanket and come prepared to sin. So it is, we experience joy when we laugh out loud. And sometimes, though, when the laughter's over, the joy subsides and fear raises its ugly head once more. Laughter's wonderful, but very often it's a temporary fix. I'm looking for something a little more permanent. I don't want to depend on a joke or a funny story or someone else's calamity to laugh about and then feel remorseful. I don't want to do that. I want it all the time, 24/7. That's my goal. I want to experience and feel joy in all that I do. And we can. We can. The question is how. How? Short of
finding jokes that we can turn to every hour, on the hour, all day long. How do we do that? So that's my quest, to find information about how and to share it with you from the platform. So in the very same book, Jesus Christ Heals, Mr. Fillmore goes on a couple paragraphs after laughter, and he says this, and this is what I was looking for. When men think a great deal about spiritual things, and especially about God as an indwelling presence, both mind and body are thrilled with joy. A feeling of satisfaction and a tendency to break out in gladness. Persons everywhere, he says, in every age have spoken of an inner glory and happiness when they got into the habit of concentrating on God. The great philosopher Spinoza wrote so much about God that he was known as the God-intoxicated man. He was high on God. End of quote. So there it was, what I was looking for from Mr. Fillmore. I am never disappointed when I turn to Unity for my inspiration or motivation, ever. It's in that deep sense of satisfaction, that deep sense of peace, that deep sense of love down in my heart that I long to experience every day in my life. And I do it more often than not, but I want to do it more. Several of you express joy in your demeanor pretty much all the time. I don't want to name names, but you know who you are. And I love being around you for that reason. Love, love, love it. I'm so glad to have friends in my life who are joyful, whose eyes sparkle. Do you know? It's a joy that comes from deep down inside. It's not a joy about laughing uproariously out loud at a joke. It's a joy that comes from deep down inside. And then I have two role models that I've depended on for years and years and years. Two role models that I look to. Two sages for the ages, right there. His Holiness the Dalai Lama and Archbishop Desmond Tutu. Look at those faces. Do you know, there are so many pictures of those men that I could have chosen from to share with you, and every single one of them, just about, I would say probably 97% of them shows those men smiling or laughing. It's how they show up. Leaders of the world's greatest religions, two of the world's greatest religions, Christianity and Buddhism. A little bit about Desmond Tutu, if you don't know. First of all, he's 90 years old this year. He's 90 years old. He's struggling a little bit with prostate cancer, but he's doing well. He is South African. He's an Anglican cleric and theologian, known for his great work in apartheid and human rights. He has championed gay rights and civil rights all of his life. All of his life. He was the first black leader anywhere to hold the prestigious offices that he has held in his lifetime, including Archbishop of the Anglican Church. He's known throughout the world as a wise, gentle leader with an ever-ready giggle and a nearly constant smile. And he has counseled leaders of the greatest nations in this world and continues to do so. His Holiness the Dalai Lama, who is 86 this year, is the highest spiritual leader of Tibet. He's a retired political leader, exiled from his country, China, exiled to live in Dharamsala, India. He is a leader of the most dominant of the four major schools of Tibetan Buddhism. He's long, long been recognized as one of the greatest spiritual leaders of this or any age. His wisdom is profound, friends. His intellect is, both of them actually, have intellects that are amazing. That is, they're smart. They're very, very smart. They are very, very, very well read, and they are very, very, very centered. They walk with God constantly. And from that place, they speak out. They share their wisdom and their intellect with the world, and have been doing so for a long time. In spite of their soul-crushing oppression, and it has been that. Imagine being exiled from your home. Exiled from your home. Imagine having to struggle to have yourself placed at the head of a church that wanted nothing to do with you because of the color of your skin. And succeeding. And rising above the oppression of being exiled. And then moving into a greatness that most of us can't even begin to comprehend. And then to smile all the time. How do they do it? Well, they're going to tell us. They've already told us. They decided that the greatest legacy that they could leave us is a gift that comes in the form of a book called the Book of Joy. A Book of Joy, the Book of Joy, written several years ago. Bob Bounds shared with me that he's just read this book, so you could talk to Bob about it. I'm not the only one. Anyone else in here, have you read this book, the Book of Joy? Well, I'm not recommending that you run out and buy it. I'm not saying that. I'm going to share a good deal of it with you, but it might interest you. So, the Dalai Lama was about to celebrate his 80th birthday in Dharamsala, and he and Desmond Tutu had already spoken about the fact that they wanted to collaborate and co-create this Book of Joy. They wanted to come together to celebrate the Dalai Lama's 80th birthday, but also to spend a week discussing how it is that they remain joyful in spite of anything. They invited Douglas Abrams, who'd been working with Desmond Tutu and the Dalai Lama already for many years, a great writer, a great philosopher in his own right, to come along and take notes. So the two of them engaged in a dialogue with one another about joy, and Douglas captured it all and created the book on their behalf. They spent hours every day just hanging out and talking and giggling, a lot of giggling, teasing each other. Oh my goodness gracious. When I read this, I'm still reading it. As I read this book, I just giggle myself at the way they play. They play like a couple of young children. One will reach out and pinch the other. Seriously. One will say to the other, "Don't you interrupt me like that. You know I'm a great leader." How dare you? Giggling about it the whole time. They have such fun together. It's inspiring just to get a glimpse into what that relationship is like. But to understand how they manage to live their lives punctuated by joy, I think it's important to start out by looking at a couple of their foundational beliefs. So I looked for those in the book. In other words, what is it that they believe that allows them to experience this kind of joy? And I found two examples that I think speak to it, answer it perfectly. The Dalai Lama, who, by the way, when asked, tells people he's a simple monk. That's it. I'm a simple monk. The Dalai Lama says this: "I believe that the purpose of life is to find happiness. It doesn't matter whether one is a Buddhist like me, or a Christian like the Archbishop, or any other religion, or no religion at all. From the moment of birth, every human being wants to discover happiness and avoid suffering. No differences in our culture or our education or our religion affects this. From the very core of our being, we simply desire joy and contentment. But so often these feelings are fleeting and hard to find, like a butterfly that lands on us and then flutters away. So bear that in mind. The Dalai Lama has said the very purpose of life, in his opinion, is to find happiness. Desmond Tutu says this: I believe what we want is not actually happiness. It is not actually what I would speak of. I would speak of joy. Joy subsumes happiness. Joy is far greater than happiness. And discovering more joy does not, I'm sorry to say, save us from hardship and heartbreak. In fact, we might cry more easily, but we will laugh more easily too. Perhaps we are just more alive. Yet, as we discover more joy, we can face suffering in a way that ennobles rather than embitters. We have hardship without becoming hard. Isn't that a profound statement? We have hardship without becoming hard. We have heartbreak without becoming broken. We have heartbreak without becoming broken. Wow. Two foundational statements that say very succinctly what it is they believe, and then a whole book full of advice about how to practice joy in your life. So over the next few weeks, I'm going to be diving in and sharing bits and pieces of it with you as I go along. Douglas Abrams, who was the writer I told you about, who traveled with them and captured all their words and then edited them and put together this transcript for them to approve and came out with the book. Based on the words of both those sages, Douglas says this: so what is this thing called joy, and how is it possible that it can evoke such a wide range of feelings? How can the experience of joy span from those tears of joy at a birth to an irrepressible belly laugh at a joke to a serenely contented smile? Paul Ekman, famed emotions researcher and longtime friend of the Dalai Lama, has written that joy is associated with feelings like these: pleasure, amusement, they're on the back of your card, contentment, excitement, relief, wonder, ecstasy or bliss, exaltation, radiant pride, elevation, and gratitude. Buddhist scholar and scientist Ricard added three more: rejoicing. When we sing songs of rejoicing, have you ever noticed how joyful you feel? Yeah. Rejoicing, delight, or enchantment. You go to Disneyland and walk down Main Street, don't you feel the enchantment of a child? Enchantment. And spiritual radiance. Spiritual radiance. I put those words on the back of your card so that you could take them with you. Because what I'd really like for you to do is, as the week goes on, just glance at those words every now and then. And notice how many of those feelings you're experiencing, because I bet you're experiencing even more than you think you are. It would be nice to begin to heighten our awareness of joy. You know, to give it a little more attention than we already do. And that's my intention with you. So take them, reflect on them, notice how often they well up inside of you. And when you do, be glad for the joy you're experiencing down in your heart. Thank you.
Sorry about that. We're doing this song in honor of, I was going to say that, 9/11. Talking about finishing statements. It's a song that we do at different American holidays, and you've heard it probably from us once or twice, or 3 or 4 times. Now you're going to hear it another time.
Oh, beautiful, for spacious skies, for amber waves of gray, for purple mountains, majesty above thy fruited plain.
America, America, God shed His grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea.
Oh, beautiful, for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountains, majesty above thy fruited plain.
America, America, God shed His grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea.
Mine eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord. Don't you know He's true? Out the vintage well, the grapes of wrath are stored. He hath loosed His faithful lightning on His tables with sword.
His truth is marching on. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. His truth is marching on.
My country, 'tis of thee the sweet land, sweet land of liberty, liberty. For thee, I wanna sing, land where our fathers died, land of
Thank you so much, Jeff and Linda. That is certainly the most fabulous medley of these tunes I've ever heard. Outstanding. I mean, that should have been played on every radio station this past week. Good. And I'd like to talk. You know, I think consciously or subconsciously, there probably isn't a person on this earth who's not looking for that joy that you're talking about, that comes up deep from within, that, you know, is irrelevant what's going on outside. It's just who we are at the deepest level. But I think many people don't know that's what they're really looking for, so they're chasing after all kinds of things. Anyway, this is the time when we collect your love offerings. They make it possible for this church to continue its work of transforming consciousness, both for all of us and, of course, across the globe, through all the vibrations we send out to the universe and also the people we meet each and every day. So let's affirm together our offering statement. Together, please, divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I give, and all that I receive. I give from love because I love to give. All right. Thank you so much. Okay, let's see what we got going on here. I keep turning around. Yes. Works easier. All right. Prayer support today. Eve. Are you the... Oh, okay. That was last week, I suppose. I have to talk to the graphics department. All right. So if anybody has a need for some good affirmative prayer, just meet Eve over there. Okay, and next we have Bible study. Is that class going on tomorrow? Good, all right, with Reverend Linda. And we have the spiritual deaths on hold because John, and keep him in your prayers as he's recovering from his eye surgery. And then we have chair yoga. Lana, where are you at there? There she is. You have that ongoing, right? Yeah. Okay, good, good. And the prayer circle will be again this Thursday at 11 o'clock. I usually attend whenever I get a chance. It's a small group, but you know, we love that little uplift in the middle of the week. So, sharing miracle moments. Is this? Do you want to talk to them about that today? Anybody? Okay. All right. Oh, I'm sorry. The program is over unless you step up.
Yeah. We're out of miracle moments. We need more.
All right. How many? Do you know how many you actually got? How many did you have? Any idea? Okay. Just curious. Okay. A bunch, yeah. Good. All right. Okay, and then, of course, the Absolute Abundance class, and she'll nail you on your way out. Yeah. Okay. Next week, we have Reverend Linda again. Always good. And then we have, okay, why don't we come on up and be blessed the offerings. Oh, Jeff. Go ahead, Jeff.
Thank you. Always forgetting me.
Yeah, no. I would never forget you.
There is choir rehearsal this
You're unforgettable.
Thursday. Because we sing next Sunday, the choir. So you don't want to miss that. At 6 o'clock Thursday, choir rehearsal. And if you're interested, I'm making noise on the piano at Cafe Martier this afternoon at 12 to 3. Just saying.
We make noise or you make noise?
No, he's going to make
You
noise.
can make noise also if you like. But mine will be louder.
A little more coordinated, too. All right. Let's just hold up our hands, send you love. Father, Mother God, we're so very grateful for these gifts that bless this church and, of course, bless every giver. And we know that they go forth to do a great work in this world as we continue to transform the consciousness of both its congregation and the whole world, in fact. And we also give thanks for the prayers that have been put in our prayer box, and we know that all those are fulfilled at the highest level, even as we speak, and they will manifest in the physical, and we give thanks for that. And so it is. Amen. All right. What do we got next? Oh, thank you to everybody. Particularly thanks to our Jada back there and the young assistants that have taken over. Good job. And I forget the young man's name there, but Joseph. All right, great team. Thanks so much for doing that. Let's join in singing our peace song. The light of God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God protects us, the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and everything's great, right? Yeah, God. By the way, folks, if anybody is interested, the healing thing from the Unity World Headquarters, I found it on YouTube. They have the whole thing from the beginning to the end. Okay, it's about an hour long. So if you have missed any part or interested in any part, it's all there to be watched on YouTube. I actually downloaded it for myself. The World Day of Healing prayer, the whole thing that they did, they have it on YouTube. Everything from the beginning to the very end. Okay. All right, great. Have a wonderful week.